What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. Seal, how's it going, bud?
It's going, dude. It's football, baby.
It's
So
football
can't get
season.
any better. Actually, I gotta start out hyped. I can't just say it's good. It's fucking great, dude. We're one day away from football and the professional aspect. We just got through a fucking exciting college football. Unfortunately, it was too exciting for UCF fans, but we had a great college football opener. Week 1, week 0 was boring as shit. Week 1 was great, beginning to end. Fireworks from all beginning to end, literally. Lane Kiffin getting COVID and still showing Ole Miss might be on the map, or Louisville really fucking sucks.
Because Kevin Smith was out there coaching the UCF running back.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, there's a lot of like relevant names in the SEC that you would never think.
Yeah.
Doug Marrone, and I mean Alabama's always, but Doug Marrone, who's the guy that shipped out DeAndre Hopkins. I can't remember. Bill O'Brien in Alabama. Just all these names, dude, that we know at least.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So before we jump into any of that stuff, if you guys do watch on YouTube, I know we get like 3 views a week, but and 2 of them are probably us. But if
Shout out, Joe, watching, you're the third, Joe.
We got some new stuff for the stuff. Steele's wearing another new jersey that I don't think he's shown off on the podcast. So the anti-LeBron.
I want to get the stitching off, but I know I will fuck the jersey up if I even try.
Right.
But that's the only thing. Like all this, see how it legit looks like it's different, dude. It's not all one jersey. This thing is way better than it looked in the movie, way better than it looked on the app to order it. I'm actually blown away by the actual product of it. Nice. Probably the best thing LeBron's ever brought out.
Well, he's also co-producing that new Adam Sandler movie about basketball.
I know, I heard about it, and I went immediately to Netflix because I had nothing to do. Found out, still have nothing to do. It's just getting started there.
Yeah, it's getting started, but that looks exciting. I'm excited for that because of Adam Sandler, not because of LeBron James.
Bro, I mean, LeBron's just kind of co-producing it. Adam Sandler's co-directing. Adam Sandler's co-directing as well. We got Doc Rivers and a shit ton of basketball players. My brain's farting on right now.
The Philadelphia 76ers base. Tobias Harris is in it.
Yeah, it's not. Did I say Doc? I didn't say Doc, right? I think I might have said Doc. Yeah, it's not Doc. It's an actual movie. But dude, I'm excited for it. It's bangers.
Yeah. So still got that new jersey to show off. I got a new background. Other side. I got a new background item to celebrate the crappy Los Angeles Football Club. That's basically no more.
Little shout out. I finally y'all have seen my city edition Boston Red Sox jersey. They finally came out with the snapback hats. Nice. So I got it. Not wearing it with the Goon Squad. I need to turn my hat around. I really don't like the way this freaking hat fits. It's going backwards. Got a new haircut and it still looks like ass. So yeah, let's get rid of that. But yeah, got the hat. It's nice blue, sissy blue, as Old Miss would say. We'll talk about all that shit here in a second. But yeah, dude, got a lot of new stuff. I can't wait to show to all 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really cool. I'm excited for the Los Angeles Football Club thing. It sucks that we're not good this year, but my girl got me this for my birthday, so I'm excited.
What did we get for Rossi?
Nothing. We sent him on loan. We didn't get paid.
Bullshit. At least he's on loan. He's on loan. So
but they're gonna buy him.
All right, well, then we're gonna get paid.
Yeah. But we just gave up on this season, it looks like. But our B team went out there and stomped Sporting KC, which was awesome. Went out there and stomped them.
Shout out to the Sounders and LAFC versus whoever else was on the other team versus the All-Star. That shit was hilarious. As I saw the lineups, I was like, wow, it's the Sounders. And when the subs came, I was like, okay, this is LAFC.
I know. I think Bob was trying not to play any of the LAFC guys. And then he was like, shit, we need them. And then our boy scored, Murillo, who doesn't have any goals. So
off of nice Atuesta opening that shit up.
For sure.
But where's that shit at, boys?
I know. But hey, they won their last game. So the B team seems to have a lot more fight in them than the A team does.
Great game against SKC too.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Just keep playing these B teams, like maybe that's what we need to have. But anyways,
Bob's last year, real quick. Bob's last year. I feel yes.
I think he was trying to get fired anyway. I don't think he really cares. I think he's just said, listen, I built this team. I helped bring them. If I could have brought him a championship, that would have been cool. But now all our best players are getting sold. He doesn't want to sit through like a rebuild or anything like that. He wanted to bring the team up and get them where they were going to be. And
the SKC shot to him, he just showed no emotion.
Yeah. I think he was trying to lose, and the bench warmers decided to come to play. And so he was probably pretty upset about that. But yeah, hey, he doesn't owe us anything. He came out, he started this team from scratch, and he doesn't owe us a rebuild if we're going to fall apart and try to sell all of our people and do it again for some reason. We haven't been around long enough to do that, but he doesn't need to deal with that crap. So whatever.
And as long as we don't just give guys away on loans and shit, and really, I mean, we could really get some good big names coming out.
We're sitting on money that we haven't even used, but maybe we're saving up for one person just like to try to make a big splash.
While we're on soccer real quick, because we're not going to talk about it the rest of the damn episode. Right. CR7 is back where the fuck he belonged for the last like 14 fucking years. Let's go.
Kind of took a pay cut to go there. I mean, he didn't get paid much at all, which is kind of weird.
Let's go.
I guess if you don't pay taxes, every little bit is something. So
when that MAN or MC, whatever the fuck Man City's three things is, turned into a fucking MUN. Whoo, boy.
Did you see that video of the guy like getting all pissed and then being happy afterwards? There was like this guy that they were interviewing him, and he was like, fuck Ronaldo, like whenever he comes to town, we're gonna like let him have it, like screw this man, blah blah blah. And then she was like, oh, you didn't hear the news, he's signing with Man United instead of City. And the guy was like, oh. And he just got like super excited. It was funny.
That's how I was, kind of like, bro, stay the fuck with Juventus, don't come the fuck over here if you're not going to come the fuck home. Like, that's some bullshit. Whenever you told me, I was like, cool, whatever, don't give a fuck. And then, oh well, hold the fucking phones.
Yeah, hey, that was crazy.
Hey, this chosen one is coming home. Completely different narrative goes on from that.
It's so funny. I mean, that's how I would be too.
Oh man,
if somebody
gets a Tom Segura injury, to hopefully we fucking have a golden boot over here, and this guy just goes fucking crazy and gets us back to the prominence.
I talk a lot of shit about Harry Kane on Tottenham, but if he decided to come to Arsenal, I'd be like, all right, let's go, bring it. We're good to go. But yeah, that's enough about football. Our teams, actually your team's still doing well, but all of my teams suck. And so we're going to switch to the real football because baseball, just as a quick snippet, both of our teams are not going to do great.
Fuck the Red Sox. We're going to end up in the wild card and lose. We had a chance to really go on a run. We beat the Indians, I think 2 games out of 3, got plastered last one. Had a game of the year nominee, as SVP would say. No fucking Red Sox fan wants to hear that bullshit. It was fucking stupid. Our pitching is fucking ass. It's fucking ridiculous how much Rafi has to keep fucking doing to try to keep us in this. Hey, it was a good start, but back to the fucking bullshit. Hey, at least we won in 2018, boys. Let's fucking go. Good luck to you and the Dodgers.
We're gonna be in the wild card too.
The fucking Giants.
Yeah.
No, Padres. Fuck the Giants. Hopefully you guys win, because again, I'm gonna be rooting for your team again for the 3rd fucking year in a row, because every team I've decided to choose in my fucking childhood sucks dick. Now,
I've been there for the
your teams are the fucking best. So
we switched places.
Hey, congrats to you. Fuck baseball. Yeah. Go Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers, all they got to do is get past the wild card. No team can beat them in a full series, I don't think, but you never know. The Giants lit up Walker Buehler, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But anyways, that's enough about baseball. We'll talk about the Dodgers when they actually do good again. But let's recap some football and let's talk about football. We're starting late, so we're probably not going to be sticking around too long, hopefully. But let's recap a little bit of the games. First off, I want to say that Ohio State did not look good. I know that they're like 4th in the nation. They're probably going to roll over Oregon like it's nothing. But they went into Minnesota and they had a tough game. They ended up holding them off and winning by double digits. But were you not worried, but when they're losing at halftime to Minnesota, if you're an Ohio State fan, are you feeling anything?
Do you feel that?
No.
Let's row the boat, baby. We're out here. But no, I mean, you kind of have to expect it. And a lot of these teams that aren't named Alabama, whose second and third team is going to beat probably every fucking team in the nation besides Clemson for the most part. That quarterback Clemson kind of caught. We'll have to figure it out, dude. That's literally the one hole they had was their offense. Their defense is still what Dabo always produces. And once that quarterback figures it out, they'll be in the prominence for the next 3 fucking years going up against Alabama too. But nah, I'm not too worried about it. Day's a good coach, but I feel like this is the first time he doesn't have the number 1 or 2 quarterback coming out. For him. Who was it right before Justin Fields? I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, he didn't do
no, I think it was Barrett on his senior year.
Yeah,
but no, maybe not. That was
JT
like
Barrett. Sorry, wrong initials.
RJ Barrett. That's awesome.
Wrong initials. But yeah, so I think they're gonna be fine. I think they were looking forward to Oregon, honestly, but we'll talk about that matchup in a little bit when we move forward. But I have to say they were wanting to face that ranked team, and they weren't worried about Minnesota. But then they had to get worried. But they came out in the third quarter, dropped 21 points on them in one quarter, and then the rest was history. So I don't think there's too much to worry about there as an Ohio State fan. But one team that does need to be worried is North Carolina. They had like their highest preseason ranking in God knows how long, and they laid an egg against Virginia Tech. They actually ended up losing by like a touchdown, I think, but that's just because Virginia Tech sucks. But
yeah, it was 17-10. It was at Virginia, and old Mac looked.
It didn't look good, man. They were just literal duds. I mean, they didn't do anything. The quarterback threw for like a couple 100 yards, but he was just doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it was rough to see it, but somehow they're still ranked. They came out like 24th in the polls.
Looks like an old Mitch Trubisky product over there. A lot of flashes, nothing to come from it. But no, let's look over at talk about Mac Brown.
Right.
Shift over. Texas. They got a fucking squad, bro.
Yeah, I called them for the upset. That was my upset pick, and it was not good. I mean, Louisiana didn't look bad in their sense. Like if you just watched their game, they were just getting destroyed by a better team. And Texas should not have been 21. They should have been higher, and they will be higher, and they are higher. So
yeah,
they're on the up and up. But I mean, Oklahoma is. We'll talk again about that. But they're supposed to be the class, and those 2 guys are leaving. But this might be. Let's talk about that real quick. So we know that they're leaving. What do the other Big 12 schools need to do? I mean, right now it looks like it's going to be Oklahoma and Texas, maybe the Iowa State.
Go outside.
Maybe the Iowa State team. But if the championship game is Texas versus Oklahoma, that's going to show bad for the Big 12. One of these other teams have to get in there. Do you think that that's important for all the TV merchandise and all this stuff, that a different team, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Texas Tech, or Texas, whoever it is, somebody has to get in there and unseat these guys?
Yeah, they should, but it's not going to happen until the day they leave. I mean, Texas took a couple years off, and it was Oklahoma's thing to do. So, yeah. It's not going to happen. Iowa State's not going to go anywhere. They haven't been able to make a run in forever. It's just nothing's going to happen until they leave, which sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks for everybody in the world except teams like West Virginia. Oh no, that's
they're Big 12 now.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Big 10 for a second, but teams like that who literally in 3 years are going to be fucking conference contenders every single year. So I don't think it's bad for the Big 12. I don't think they need anything to happen right now for all these other teams. They just need to ride the fucking coattails for as long as they can and make as much money off of these 2 teams while they can, and hope to God Texas keeps up on this trail, because that's more money. Texas and Oklahoma are by far their biggest money makers in that conference. So until the day comes, you need to get that money while you can. You can't hope for another fan base or another college to come in and take away millions of dollars. You can't let that happen.
Well, Texas has their own channel. Like they have the Longhorn Network.
Yeah.
and that probably makes as much money as the Big 12 network on its own. So that's going to be pretty rough.
And then the Fox, I think Fox and Dr. Pepper and all those fucking the checks get bigger when there's more. If it's an Iowa State fucking Oklahoma State conference game, Dr. Pepper isn't going to be as happy that they're doing all this shit for the conference championship game as much as they would if it's Oklahoma versus one of those other two teams.
And I mean, that's pretty much the biggest rivalry in sports or in college football. I mean, obviously there's Ohio State, Michigan, which is up there. Alabama, Auburn is up there pretty well.
Army, Navy, America.
Army, Navy, I guess, is up there. But it's Oklahoma and Texas year over year that seems to be at least generate more interest from non-fans, from the team's non-fans. I don't watch Ohio State and Michigan like ever. I'll tune into the Red River rivalry. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because that's what was my history, but that's the one that I'd rather watch.
Always. I mean, if you can get two of them, like 2 games of that, that'd be great.
All right. So let's move back into what actually happened and talk about a couple of these ranked matchups. And let's start out with, you mentioned it earlier, Alabama, their second stringer, their third stringer, their anybody stringer comes out and just trounces Miami, which we both said, well, you actually gave Miami a chance, but we both know that Miami's not one of the best teams in the league like Alabama is. But Bryce Young said, yo, get that Heisman Trophy. Anybody that put odds on me before the season, that's the best you're ever going to get, because there will be no odds for the rest of the season. 344 yards, 4 touchdowns over ranked Miami. Is this just another year? Just another Alabama rolling through everybody year?
Yeah. Clemson's not going to do it. Georgia might be able to do something, but unless Clemson's defense is really as good as only giving Georgia nothing, then no. But it's I mean, they had no starters. They had like 2 or 3 starters over both sides of the ball, and they literally just caused chaos. Henry had like 16 of 17 passes, or no, 16 of 18 completed passes for like 73 yards. Yeah. Something ridiculous. That's this. You don't ever want to see this in football. We're not trying to make a band play. This is going left to right. Don't want that. Yeah. You got to go north and south. And these freaking monsters on all 11 positions, it was ridiculous. Absolutely insane. That front 4 is crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. No time. Even with the screen passes that were getting out of his hands in like half of a fucking second, he's still jumping back, trying to get away from somebody getting to him. And oh yeah, by the way, the guy catching the screen right when he gets the ball, it was amazing to watch, man. There was a reason they were given 18.5 points, Miami that is, and they probably should have been given about fucking 30, because Alabama is going to run reckless. And unless 2 weeks from now the Gators start a big old 1-5 freshman.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, Alabama's going to run the lights off of everybody. They're going to blow everybody, incling us, including.
What about A&M? A&M's got to be the only team that can even give them a shot.
They're just now starting out with a new quarterback. He looked great. Looked better than Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond. Looked a lot better than him. But no, that defense on Alabama, they could score 7 points every single fucking game for the rest of the year on offense, and they're still going to win 35-0 probably against everybody.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous because the top 4 teams were Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and Clemson. We talked about how Ohio State looked shaky against Minnesota. Clemson lost to Georgia, which we'll talk about very much next. But Oklahoma against Tulane, at home against Tulane, only won by 5. Spencer Rattler looked fine. He didn't get touchdowns, but he looked fine. They were up like 20-something points at halftime and then completely blew it against Tulane, the Green Wave from like Conference USA. Actually, I think they're in our conference, but I don't care about that. And Oklahoma didn't look close. And Clemson, of course, like I said, they lost. So there's not really a team on Alabama's level. Georgia, of course, got to jump to number 2, but there's not a team. I agree with you. There's not a team on Alabama's level. Oklahoma has to do something more. We don't need to talk about that game really, but because it's against Tulane, but it's just, that's not good. You can't, these Big 12 teams just don't play defense, and it's so sad. And Alabama, as you've alluded to, they do play defense. So they're going to stop you from scoring one time. And that's all you need against an Oklahoma team. And that's why Oklahoma never makes the playoff. That's why Oklahoma never makes it happen when they get to the playoff. We saw them play Georgia a couple of years ago, and it was like a 56-54 in double overtime kind of game. You got to play defense, and they don't do it. So I'm not even entertaining the fact that Oklahoma's a chance.
And we saw over the last 8-9 years how all of these random teams would come out with such dynamic offenses and just blow everybody away and beat everybody in their league. And when it came down to it, they would never get into the playoffs because the same 5-6 teams, even Ohio State, get in every single year. But what we're seeing right now, a lot of these guys are fucking sophomores and juniors that are playing for Alabama. I think there's like 5 or 6 seniors on defense. That's not a lot, dude, for college football. Usually defense is stacked with seniors every fucking year, red shirt seniors. No, we got a lot of 2-3 year guys over here that are starting, that were not starting last year, and they just look so fucking hungry. So I don't care who it is. At Ohio State, they could figure it out and beat everybody by 40 points. But they're playing nobody with defenses like you're alluding to. Texas, I think, has a squad on offense.
Yeah.
Defensively, hey, they were able to stop the Raging Cajuns, who looked like they could fucking really score on anybody, and they weren't able to at the end of it. If Raging Cajuns would have played fucking Alabama this past week, the team that we saw, they would have lost by -2 points. Like,
that doesn't make sense.
I don't know. A safety on a safety. I don't know. Getting the punt blocked off of a safety. Who knows? But it's insane. I don't think I've ever seen a defense like that. Just so absolutely. And I think I'm giving too much credit to Miami coming into this game.
Right.
Because I alluded to last week how many starters they had and how their season, they have vets on every position of that team, and they made them look like Bishop Sycamore, dude. It was ridiculous. So I'm mind blown by it, and I'd be surprised if anybody scored more than 30 points on them all year.
Yeah, that's sad. That's just the nature of the beast, though, with Alabama. That's what you do. When
you have a whole private lake, you can get all these boys.
Exactly. You talked about it last week, and that must be what it is. Let's talk about a team that probably has its own private lake, but nobody knows about it. And they are back in relevance. Oh, I said it wrong at first. And that's UCLA. What happened? I mean, first of all, I don't know why all these unranked teams are hosting ranked teams this year. Usually the LSUs of the world, the Ohio States of the world, they all get to home games. So I'm not really sure what's happening here. But UCLA welcomed in LSU, and they really ran them out. I mean, LSU, they get the ranking because they're SEC, because of their history, all that. But we knew they weren't going to be that good this year. And UCLA showed it. UCLA is 2-0 because they got to play in week 0. What do you think about the Pac-12? Did you stay up at all and see that?
Yeah, I did. And I liked all the shit going around with all that stuff. That was UCLA with a sissy blue. I don't know why I said that with Ole Miss. Yeah. Same fucking color. Shout out to Ole Miss for coming out, though, in that baby blue. Yeah. Shit. It was beautiful to see. But no, I like it. I like UCLA thinking that they actually have something here. They haven't had anything since Josh Rosen. And we all know that guy wasn't really it. He was a system guy and really looked good in a team that had nothing but him. And he was able to score a lot of touchdowns, but they were losing games 52-47 and shit like that. So, yeah, they got to feel really confident because on both sides of the ball now, they seem to have together. And, oh, yeah, they're in the Pac-12. So if there's one team to have it on both sides of the ball, they might just end up able to sneak away with it.
Exactly.
They might lose a game. And if UCLA only loses one game this year, they're going to be good. USC still living on the coattails of trying to get Reggie Bush, his Heisman, back. And, yeah, I love it.
Arizona State's the next best team in the division at this point.
But you feel like LSU, they're one of those I wouldn't say like a cult culture kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who don't even care about college football love LSU. They love the gritty that these boys bring into the NFL. They love Ed Ogeron with the Go Tigers, and just the LSU just brings a lot of swag to the outside people of college football. And it's amazing that they were able to show that fan base that's millions and millions of people who don't even give a fuck about football. Like, hey, Pac-12 just beat the SEC. And oh, yeah, we're not even supposed to be shit this year. So, yeah, they have to be very, very proud of themselves and coming into this season really thinking, hey, we're 2-0. Let's go. Like, we got if they do get to it, they're going to have 2 weeks off before their conference game.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's not, like I made a joke that Arizona State's the next best team. Arizona State is the highest ranked team in the Pac-12, and nothing against Arizona State. They've been a good program for the last couple of years, but you don't think of them when you think of great Pac-12 going to the playoff. So UCLA will have that confidence, even if they're the underdog. They're going to say, "You're Arizona State. We don't give a shit about you."
You think Herm Edwards and a fire fucking mascot. That's all you think about.
It's true. They got that cool like sun trident thing going on. So before we move on to week 2 and start to make our predictions and talk about the things of the future, we have to mention a team that we would never mention on this podcast because we don't give a shit about them. And that's FSU. They lost, and that's the only reason we can talk about them. But our boy, as UCF alumni, our boy Mackenzie Milton waited his turn.
You didn't have to pause. I'm a UCF alumni. You're right.
It's been 3 years since he had that gruesome leg injury. If you didn't find it, you can find it on YouTube. If you want to watch it, his leg turned sideways. It's kind of gross. It's been 3 years since then. The doctors have said multiple times, they said, I've never seen anyone come back to play from this. We don't know if it can happen, but dude, Mackenzie has constantly said it will happen.
So days after the incident, he had leg saving surgery. They were
not just days after, the night of.
Oh yeah, the night. Yeah, they were just trying to save his leg in hopes that he might be able to walk again. Like, you have to understand the significance of this injury. It wasn't something that like people come back from and able to play sports again. People lose it. They will have a nub there. His leg was everything was dead. Like, it's insane that he was, 1, able to walk, 2, not lose his leg, 3, be able to come in and go 4 for 4 on a scoring drive that they looked like they were about to get fucking routed in the second half of.
The best case scenario that the doctors gave him he would be able to walk with a limp. And that is best case. That is, you won the lottery. You get to walk with a limp. And he said, fuck that. I'm not going to, well, he didn't say that because he's a good kid that is very polite, but he didn't tell the doctors that, but that's what he thought inside. And he said, I'm going to do this. And his mom, if I was his parent, I would have been like, no, you're not. Go show him. Well, you're a commentator and you're going to make money for it. But no, he pressed forward. He had to leave UCF. He graduated. He was a graduate transfer. He had to leave UCF because Dylan Gabriel was doing what he does. And instead of going down to like a FCS school or one of those crappy schools that he could easily start, he said, no, I want the challenge. I'm going to go to FSU. I'm going to try to. He didn't get the start. Some guy with my name got the start and went out and shit the bed. And so he got the call. And like you said, he came out. They handed the ball off a lot in the first drive. They threw a couple screen passes, and the screen passes kind of made me nervous. They were kind of wobbly. They weren't pretty. But
even that first down throw, his first throw was duck.
So he started to get the groove, but then I saw it. I think it was still the first drive, maybe the second drive. He got a hit and stepped in and chucked the ball, and I was like, "Oh, he's back!" And then he started running the ball.
The second drive, he rolled to the left, stopped, did that ugly fucking sidearm, and was still able to get loft on that bitch somehow from coming underneath his fucking cranium. Loft on that bitch to a fucking guy on a drag route. I was like, hey, he's back.
He's back.
He's back. He
had a couple of runs. He wasn't scared to run. Obviously, he slid. Very, very smart by him. But he led the comeback. They were down 10, I think, when he came in. back-to-back drives, led scoring drives to get to overtime. And luckily, Norvell
5
screwed
minutes
it up.
into the third quarter, we were thinking it was going to be a 35-42 to 21.
And this Notre Dame
maybe.
quarterback was putting the hurt on these kids. He was played amazing. I think he's a true freshman too, right? He was dominating, but yeah, I mean, good on Mackenzie Milton. He should get to start next week. We'll see. A lot of coaches like to stick with their choice, but he did what he could. He proved himself, and I couldn't be happier. And again, I'm very happy that FSU lost, but ultimately it's about more than football. And I'm just happy that Milton was able to go out there.
And real quick, I want to shout out UCF. Let me bring this up a little bit because I keep leaning up. Shout out to UCF. One, not only for I know firsthand of how amazing the health, like for just the students of there. They have probably the best health department for the clinics and all that shit for the students to go to. Besides Gainesville, I guess they have fucking hospitals all over Gainesville. So that's probably the best student clinic. But I don't know. But I just know the facilities they have for the students at UCF is absolutely amazing. And the way the doctors there were able to go to work at the UCF, Orlando Health, all of that, shout out to Orlando as a whole to come together and help this kid out. And the way UCF has stayed on his fucking side. Have you ever seen a college or pro team play highlights of a player on another team, except when they're playing old highlights of a new acquisition?
Right.
Like, shout out to this fucking organization.
Gus even talked about him in the like post-game conference thing.
Yeah, like it's a ride or die thing. And first year coach never even saw the guy probably. To like for the whole college to really have this kid's back and have his best interest no matter what, it was fucking awesome to see. Like so awesome to see. And UCF really has to take a little bit of credit for him to be able to get out there and get back on that field because they repaired that motherfucker's leg. Like they brought him back, they rehabbed him, and he was on the field with no limp, helping coach up this
run the practice
atrocious looking quarterback we have at UCF named Dylan
Gabriel.
Yeah, I was about to say Dylan Gabriel.
I said the last thing before we moved on, but we didn't talk about UF or UCF.
Oh no, we're about to talk about UF real quick. You mentioned freshman quarterbacks.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about them is what I'm saying. So we aren't going to move on just yet. We got to talk about our teams. And let's start real quick with UF because that was a game that was supposed to be an easy win. UCF was supposed to have a tough one. Emory Jones, he's been the hype since he came in.
Why?
He was the number one dual threat quarterback in high school. He continued to do those dumb little, you come in and you know he's going to run plays whenever he did it, the option or whatever. Now he finally gets his chance to start. And we can tell right off the bat, I don't care what sort of a fan you are, you can tell right off the bat, Dan Mullen doesn't trust him because there's another quarterback that's in there. I texted you, I thought he was injured. I thought he got injured. Yeah. And you were like, oh, if he did, I didn't see it, but yeah, what happened? And it turns out that this other dude's actually good.
Yeah. So can I just go ahead and say what I've been saying for the last 2 years? Emory Jones is what the fuck I've been saying he is. He's nothing. He's not a Gators quarterback. He's not a Gators starting quarterback. Felipe fucking Franks wasn't a Gator starting quarterback, but he was a part of Dan Mullen's era. I understand that. Right. Emory Jones was his first fucking pick. Yep. It was his first guy signed. Kyle Trask is going to be the guy now. Felipe is gone, but you're going to have your chance. And he kept beating him in the extra time. And I was like, I don't know what they're seeing, but I pray to God he's never the fucking starter quarterback. Thank you, Jesus. I hope I'm getting his name right. Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I think that's right. 15.
Big dude.
The best person, 6'4", 240 pounds, running like a 4.3, smoking the DBs on a fucking 58, 59-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And on that run, just the defensive lineman, arm tackling, that's a no-no in any kind of fucking – a Pop Warner, you can kind of get away with it, but that's about it. But trying to arm tackle him, grabbed onto his jersey so strong it just ripped right off of him. Yeah. And just shoop, off to the edges, off to the races. Let's fucking go. This kid looks good, and he can throw the ball. why Emory Jones was the best threat quarterback is fucking beyond me. The kid can't throw beyond 10 yards.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
He hasn't been able to throw for 3 years. The ball,
he's about 4 yards beyond. So unless it's a fucking slant or a drag route or a screen pass, the kid's fucking we saw it. The only time we ever got a fucking deep route, a deep ball, good, was flags. He can't connect. Sorry. Can't connect. Can't do it. This kid, we didn't really have to see his arm because of what they were able to do. And Dan Mullen, shout out to him for being an amazing fucking coach, went right to it. Fucking force feeding that shit.
Yeah.
So shout out to that. But hey, if this kid has any kind of arm, any kind of passing accuracy, that's a step above Emory Jones. And that's really what we need. We have power on offense. Like we have guys to replace Tony and all these fucking weapons we've had. We have it. We just need a quarterback to be able to get the fucking ball to him. And to have a quarterback that can do that and be another weapon that Dan thought Emory was going to be, it's amazing.
Well,
and
Emory is that weapon. He's just not the quarterback weapon.
And we get 4 years.
I was nervous because losing Kyle Trask, losing Kyle Pitts, losing Tony, losing all those people sucks. But I had seen Emory Jones play for a couple of years. And I, just like you, I was like, I don't know unless they have the same thing we say with Taysom Hill. It's like they keep hyping these people up, and I don't see the true quarterback in them. And I don't see it in Emory. I hope for his senior year, they decide to let him try to play some tight end, let him try to play some tailback, not tight end because he's actually not that big.
No, more of a Godfrey thing. Hit the Godfrey on him.
Yeah.
Put him as a wide receiver.
If he just let him.
The kid's quick as fuck.
Yeah, he is, but he might have to do that like off jet sweep tailback kind of off back, whatever they call it.
The McCall Hardman shit.
Yeah.
The only time you can catch the ball is fucking 50 yards down the field, and that only happens half the time whenever you actually get to it.
So he might have to do that, but because he's elusive, he can get away from people, but can't throw the ball. But yeah, so I'm excited about that fact, but it looks like it's going to take the Gators a little bit to figure that out.
And in all honesty, a lot of these guys, and I'm not trying to put fucking skin color into anything, but a lot of these guys coming out that are black, that have wide receivers and shit like that, all of these guys were the quarterbacks for a very long time because they were the best at everything.
Yeah, the best player, the best athlete. We had it with Josh Miller when we were in high school. He was a wide receiver.
Went to Louisville. Yeah.
He was a wide receiver. That's what he was supposed to be. And then we just had him at quarterback because we were like, well, if nobody can throw, we might as well put you back there and let you score some.
At least you can throw it 65 yards down the fucking field and run a 4-3.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's literally what happens to all of these guys. So shout out to Emory for sticking with it and staying to it. But dude, you might be able to be a quarterback of Louisville. We saw, hey, he's probably way better than that motherfucker was. But dude, you're in the SEC. You're not it. And thank God Anthony Richardson is right there. Hopefully going to save the day. I do think we have another fucking egg game coming up. I don't remember who it's against.
The Cows of Southwest
USF.
Florida.
Yeah. The Inner University of Gulf Coast is what I'm going to start calling them. The IUGC.
We call them WFCC, West Florida Community College.
That's awesome. But yeah, so I think we're going to have another one of those. We're going to have both of them, and we're going to see who shines, because in my eyes, Anthony Richardson gives us the best chance to beat Alabama. It's not going to happen. Right. Our defense is the truth. Our defense is really good, but we're going to have to score at least 80 points.
Yeah. So do you think, at first I thought this was like a 2 QB system, but do you think it was the fact that we knew we were going to win, so we're going to try out both of these guys? Because that's what I hope to. I mean, the 2 QB system works in college for some reason that's unbeknownst to me, but I've never been a fan of it. I want you to have a guy. I want you to pick the guy, and I want you to run with it. So if this was a tryout,
if we do have it, it's going to be switched.
Right.
Like
Richardson will start and Jones will
Tim Tebow's going to be the dual threat guy, and then Emory Jones is going to be coming to be the run guy. I mean, Emory Jones isn't 6'5", 240 like Anthony Richardson is, and he's not 6'3", 220 like Chris Leak was. He's a small little guy. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but he can't be like, do we agree he cannot be the starter against Alabama? He fucking can't.
Yeah. We'd be down 28 points in the first quarter and then then we'd just be trying to claw back and it wouldn't happen. So let's real quickly talk about UCF. It looked like if you just watched the first little snippet, we were going to beat them by 40 points. It was no issue whatsoever. And then your favorite quarterback of all time, Dylan Gabriel, showed that when you're running to the side, you can't throw it over people's head. It's physically impossible. You go out and try to do it in the backyard. You just can't get. No, the guy was wide open. And it was my freaking fantasy guy. Was wide open, and Gabriel.
Like my gifts.
I don't know if he can't see the guy or if he doesn't have the physical ability, which we've seen him throw a deep ball to get it over the guy, but he threw it twice. Both of his interceptions were throwing it right to the guy that I think he just doesn't see. I don't think he has the vision to see those guys.
Yeah, either that or something's up with his fucking rotator cuff and he just doesn't have the confidence to be able to pull that shit, because that definitely is a wind up throw. Like, you're not going to, unless you're fucking Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes, you're not going to be able to risk that shit. You're going to have to be able to set your feet and wind that bitch up. So hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully it's not some lingering on shit. That would suck, Dick. But yeah, so let's just hope he can't see it and they're able to go in through film and teach him to look through the lanes like Gardner Minshew has been able to get so really good at, and being able to throw through the lanes of these fucking 6'5" guys that are chasing after you.
After that pick six, Boise State looked like they were going to rout us, and then the Gus bus left the station that came into the locker room at halftime, and it made the adjustments. Gus made the adjustments that need to be made, and then after halftime, we looked like the team that would have dominated them from the start that we looked like before the pick.
Second half. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go for it. I mean,
the second half really looked like the vision that Gus probably had for the team. He went into the first half trying to bring over the UCF standard, and I've always felt that them two trying to meet in the middle of UCF's side of the way they went for the last 7-8 years wasn't gonna fit. So when they came out in the second half and Bowser went to Eaton and chasing after Mario and Luigi and fucking stealing Princess Peach in that leather skin, it started coming into fruition. And that running game was really able to help out and lead into the passing game. And the defense was able to take a little bit of a break. And we saw that they started actually being able to tackle, which why they didn't come out of a fucking 8-month break being able to fucking tackle people is unbeknownst to me. But that running game and them able to actually get a little bit of a break on the sideline helped out, and they were able to come in and actually stop them on really key plays. And shout out to Gus, shout out to that whole coaching staff to really go through and be like, all right, fuck all this UCF shit that used to happen. Like, we're about to fucking run the ball. We're going to feed it. We're going to look like an SEC team for the second half, and we're going to win the fucking game.
One thing that he didn't do, though, which I'd love to see more of, and Gus definitely knows how to do it because he did it at Auburn, is he did not use his tight ends at all. I'm not sure. They probably had a couple of targets. Their backup tight end caught a couple of passes. He dropped a touchdown, but they just didn't use their tight ends. And usually when you're doing that run game and that shorter thing, they tend to use the tight ends a little more. But do you think that's something that he'll factor in, or does he not even need to? Okay.
No, he will. He will for sure. I mean,
we have good tight ends. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, but I was about to say, we've always been able to call on 1-2 receivers, just being UCF fans. How many receivers you know right now?
Richardson, Johnson, and then that freshman looked pretty good, but I don't know.
I'm just saying Jay Flash. I mean, that dude looked fucking
well, that
great.
is Richardson. Yeah.
That's the only person that I can think of.
What about that kid that caught the touchdown? That made
was that Brandon Johnson?
No, that was his name's like Titus. He has like a hyphenated last name. He's from Hawaii or something. But he made this nice adjustment to catch a badly thrown ball.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. Like, if we're able to get these guys, like these wide receivers that are actually really good, that'd be great. But coming into this year, we really didn't know what we had. We knew we had a fucking transfer guy that has a lot of experience and is really good at running the ball in between the tackles, and knowing with Gus's offensive schemes that's going to really work out. That's why I took him number 1 in our draft, because I just figured, hey, it has to work out eventually. and it came out to work out week 1. So we have 2 picks in our fantasy.
Yeah, just 2.
My second pick had 0 points, and I still
that
won
is the tight end though. So I mean,
because Bowser really went off, and because DG wasn't able to get it done. And I feel like that'll help us in our league and our conference. We're going to be able to still 2 or 3 games with that system, with that run the ball, kill the clock, get in the end zone, because this league's not used to it. We might have a chance
Navy, but
we might have a chance against Cincinnati, being able to keep, if we're able to go down and have 7 and 8 minute drives, even if we're only able to get 3 points to take the ball away from that offense for that long. I mean,
I know it's Miami of Ohio, but Cincinnati
we have to learn
put the herd on.
Oh, they fucking did, but we have to learn how to tackle. If our defense is able to come together, the way our offense was able to get together and be able to score the ball and really fucking start showing that what we're able to do, if we can keep that up, and our defense can't go anywhere but up. I mean, they fucking sucked. They sucked. So if they're able to get their shit together and we run that second half offense that we were able to run, that SEC style shit, then I really feel like we would have a chance against Luke Fickell's bitch ass in Cincinnati. Absolutely.
Well,
and I'm sorry I called you a bitch ass, Luke Fickell. You've been in the game for about 50 years.
We're going to be on his billboard in the locker room. We're going to be on his billboard in the locker room.
Bro, he was AJ Hawk's college linebacker coach. AJ Hawk's been retired for like 5 years. He's been in football for a very long time. I apologize for saying that.
So let's move forward, just because there's not a lot of ranked matchups, and we can group together Florida and UCF, because if either of these 2 teams lose, it's going to be a riot. But UCF plays Bethune-Cookman and Florida plays USF. Is there any fear in either of our eyes? Obviously, there's the letdown game from Florida, which is something you don't want to see. But are you concerned about either of these teams losing?
No.
Good.
Absolutely not. From the Gators defense, I don't think there's too much we weren't happy about. A lot of first week shit,
Yeah.
Not too much stuff that we're going to be like, yo, we looked like ass. It's more so, hey, that guy right there, he needs to run about 20 laps and hit the fucking hit the big screen and figure out what the fuck just happened there, because that's not Florida DBs right there. That's not a Florida linebacker right there. It was more so these guys just really breaking down and just letting these guys run off and look like 3 years ago when they were almost undefeated. So no, not at all. I don't think it's a team thing. More so like with UCF, it's not a team thing. The team's good. Like UCF is good. It's just them trying to play the way they used to and having a coach that has nothing to do with that type of football play. So no, if Bethune-Cookman scores 21 points, it's because we didn't fucking tackle them. If USF scores 21 points, it's because the Gators are about to get fucking routed by Alabama by 56, and their defense just is absolutely ass, and the FAU really isn't that good.
I can see a letdown game from Florida, but a letdown game is still we're gonna win by 20. Yeah, we should win by 40. We might only win by 20, but it's not gonna be a big deal. And UCF is gonna just roll over Bethune-Cookman. No offense to Bethune-Cookman, but it's a different tier. We play these guys for a reason. We want to get a tune-up game before we start playing tough games. So that's just the way it's going to be. I
had a shot at Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the games that actually might matter. And let's start with a early rivalry game, actually. There's a couple of early rivalry games this year, but Clemson, coming off a loss, has to welcome in South Carolina. Both of these teams are obviously in South Carolina. They're both 0-1. Is Clemson going to get back on board, or can they get upset by the SEC again?
No, South Carolina's on a first year coach. Don't know his name. They look good. But they look like they're trying to prove shit. Clemson looked like they were trying to win a game. They weren't trying to prove anything. They were just trying to win a game. Weren't able to against a really good fucking team, a really good defense, if you will. Clemson's defense is the truth. Like, they really shut Georgia down.
That's true.
I watched probably 30 minutes of it, and I could tell. I watched the third and a little bit of the fourth quarter, and then I just knew there was no way they were going to let Clemson win, so I shut that shit off. But the refs had a lot to do with that game. a lot to do with that game at the end of it. So no, I don't see them losing to another SEC team. I kind of see them maybe having a little bit of route if this quarterback's able to get it together, if Dabo's able to figure out what this quarterback needs, what he likes, what he's able to do, because it's very fucking obvious. He's not Trevor Lawrence. He's not Kelly Bryant. He can't throw the ball like them two. We can't forget how really great Kelly Bryant was at throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Like he could throw the ball 70 yards on this back fucking foot. And this kid can't do it. Like he can't fucking do it. He might be able to, but it's going to go 10 yards out of bounds. Like he's not able to do it the way those two guys were. And that's why Dabo Swinney's great.
Yeah. Well, the best coach in college football is going to figure it out. He's gonna have a game plan set. And I agree with you. They're going to route. It's going to be pretty easy.
Maybe they'll turn into a Navy or run heavy, triple off option, fucking pass it to the tight ends all the fucking time. Hit this Kansas City, don't throw the ball. Kansas City Chiefs, don't throw the ball over 5 yards and just win a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Except that they didn't win the Super Bowl. But so let's talk about the two.
No, not last year, the year before when they had in the Super Bowl, they didn't have their average yard of pass was 5.2 yards or some shit when they won.
Yeah. So let's break down but let's predict the two ranked matchups. Ohio State, we talked about it. I said they might have been preparing for Oregon, is why they had a tough game against Minnesota. They welcome in number 12 Oregon. The Pac-12, like I said, they have 3 ranked teams now. They're trying to get some steam going on. What do you see from this? Do you think that Day has another struggle, or is he gonna?
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a struggle. Defensively, Ohio State is not what they used to be, and they don't have Justin Fields to save the day and bring back the mistakes that they were able to do last year. A lot of the games that they won last year, the other team was able to score 4 or 5 touchdowns against them.
That's true.
So yeah, Oregon can fucking run the scoreboard up right now. Like they look like they did in 2008, 2009. So yeah, it's not going to be easy bout. I definitely see Ohio State winning, but Robert Day is going to look a little bit suspect, and we might see Scott Frost's switch over there a little sooner.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. It's not going to be Scott Frost. It's going to be Luke Fickell, who started out at Ohio State. I don't know why I said Scott Frost. I was thinking UCF.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
No, Luke Fickell started out, and everybody says the only way he's going to leave UC is to go to Ohio State, and I think that is going to happen a lot sooner than people think, because if Ohio State loses 2 games this year, if Ohio State doesn't make the playoffs this year, he's gone, because after this year, they're going to figure out the playoffs have to go to at least 6 teams.
Right.
And it's going to start immediately. It's going to start next year, because they're going to have to figure it out before 2023 when shit really hits the fucking fan, and they have to have at least 12 teams. So next year is going to get expanded by at least 2 teams. We're going to have at least 6 or 8. We'll figure that shit out. But the year after that, they're really going to have to expand it. So I think next year is going to be one of those, all right, let's expand it a little bit, see how this works, and see what we can do next year, because conferences are all fucked up, and it really only matters about 5 teams. And all those 5 teams are in the same fucking conference now. So
well, it depends on, this is off topic, but it depends on what Luke Fickell and Cincinnati do this year, because if they're undefeated this year, that means they beat Notre Dame.
It doesn't matter.
Seriously?
It doesn't matter. If Ohio State calls Luke Fickell at the end of this year.
I mean for the playoff expansion, not for him getting hired. For the playoffs, because if they go undefeated this year, having beaten Notre Dame, I think it's Louisville is the other team they play, and they still don't get in, the expansion will literally have to happen, because they're not going to get in. I can sit here
they're
right
not.
now
And the reason, and I don't think of that as a reason for it to get expanded next year because of the little dogs. I think of it as a reason to get expanded next year because of the Oklahomas going to the SECs, the Texas going to the SECs.
You think they're gonna try to fit in 2 of the power schools?
No. They're gonna expand it to see how it goes, because they're not gonna go from 4 to 12 right off rip, which I feel like is gonna have to happen. So they're gonna expand it, add a couple more games, see what they can do with that, and see how much money they're able to make. Because there's no way, if those teams are in the SEC, you're going to have more than just the Alabama and the Floridas. Everybody's going to be coming out of 2 conferences always.
You don't think they're going to be happy to let West Virginia into the playoff every year?
If they're in the Big 12 and they're running shit, maybe. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows if the media people who are able to fucking vote on this shit, who have never played a day in their life, hold the Big 12 to the standard that they do right now.
Condolingus Rice. She was on that thing, right?
Yeah. No. But no, the way you said that totally got my brain on another fucking story. You're Condoleezza Rice and you're
Yep.
But anyways,
that's what I was going with.
I know.
Right.
But no, so they're gonna have to expand. It's not has nothing to do with the Luke Fickles. But I feel like even once they expand it, it's not going to be in favor of the Cincinnati's in the group of fives, because the group of five, like we've already talked about before with this whole realignment shit, they're gonna be in the dust, dude.
Yeah.
So Luke Fickell, if he wants to stay a prominent coach, he's going to have to leave Cincinnati. And that's what everybody knows. So everybody's thinking it's going to happen in 2, 3, 4 years. It could happen after this year if Robert Day really shows he's not a really good quarterback. He just had, or a really good coach. He just had a really good fucking quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Ohio State's probably going to win, but yeah, Oregon's going to give them the business. They might be up in the fourth quarter, and it might come down to the wire. But the last game, the last ranked game, the college game day game, if we're allowed to say that without getting sued, is Iowa at Iowa State. This is kind of a qualifier, if you will, for Ohio State to say, hey, the Big 12's fine. We can beat Big 10 teams. We can do what we got to do. And both of these teams are not expected to be that good, but Iowa has the history to be good. And I think what they showed in week 1 was that they were too low of a rank, and they got put back up to 10, which is where they should be. And I think they're going to beat Iowa State. I think they're going to win pretty handily, honestly. I don't know that it's going to be the prettiest game, but I think they're going to win pretty handily. And Iowa State will slowly start to slide out where they deserve to be. And I think Iowa will eventually also slide out of the picture, but they're going to win this game pretty easy, in my opinion.
Yeah, first and foremost, we don't own the rights or licensing to any of the names that we say in this podcast. So we just have to let that be very clear so we don't get this episode banned. We don't own them. We might have to put that in the bio of this episode. But also, I talked about it. What other team was able to have fans there last year? Nobody but Iowa. They had a fucking kids fucking hospital
they had
right
the kids,
there.
And you were right about the kids.
I told you, bro.
You called it.
They're going to be ready. They're going to be happy.
But it's in Iowa State. The game is.
No. I understand that. But I told you at the beginning there, they're going to be ready. They're going to be able to show out, and more than just the sick kids. And they're still going to honor them kids. And Iowa Hawkeyes have a fucking squad too, dude. Like, they really look on both sides of the ball. They look really good. And if you have a defense in that conference, it really is up to your offense. Like you said, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly, but they might be able to just muster it together and have a great season. Not only a good week against Iowa State, but have a really good season. Like, they really look like they're not going to go to the playoffs, but they're going to be able to fuck around with.
If they catch Ohio State slipping, they might be able to get up in there.
They're definitely going to be able to fuck around with a couple teams.
So before we get out of here, we're running short on time here, but we want to be ahead of the curve here. We won't talk about it till it's official, but it seems like the Big 12 is offering BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF a spot. And you mentioned it briefly. It's going to leave the group of 5 just left in the dust. Real quick, is the Big 12, they're going to lose Texas, they're going to lose Oklahoma, they're going to lose all that money, they're going to lose a lot of TV. BYU wants 2 nationally televised games. I don't know that they can even promise them that. Is the Big 12 going to be able to stay above water by signing these 4 guys?
No. When you look at the markets, BYU isn't really a big market. They're fucking I don't know if they are
the whole state though.
I don't know if they're actually
Utah's pretty good.
I don't know if they're a private school, but it's not if they are a public school, it's not like private. It's not like a normal public school. Like, it's a faith-based school.
Right. So
no, I don't see too much unless you went there, unless you lived around there. They don't really have too many people that live other places. I mean, when you talk about UCF makes people who fucking own businesses. Like, they run shit. Like, UCF people move. You're fucking in Irvine. Like, you're right there in the valley.
And our alumni have a lot of people. I mean, it's worldwide.
Dude, they have 50,000 students every fucking year.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to know what the numbers are now. 2012, I think it got up to 56,000 or some shit.
I think they said we have 380,000 alumni across America.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So like UCF would be able to travel and shit like that. But when you talk about like BU, Cincinnati, obviously they have been known. They have been up there in the rankings the last couple of years. But UCF has been able to show Georgia when we beat Georgia in the bowl game, traveled. Arizona, you were there for that. Yeah. Travel. Like, I mean, UCF fans travel. They show the fuck out. They show up. And it doesn't matter what it is. We'll be there. It doesn't matter if we have to fucking fly 5-6 hours to get there. The fans are going to be there. And I can't really say the same for BYU. But even if it's just UCF and Cincinnati, if they're able to pull other teams from other shits with this realignment, yeah. But those 4 teams, absolutely not.
I think Houston got the nod over the teams like Memphis and whatnot because they're in Texas, which is where a lot of the centralized stuff is. But
Houston is going to end up, if they do, Houston will be a Vanderbilt of that conference. Yep. They are going to be nothing. Yeah.
They're going to get
forever. Beat up. They will never, ever, ever have any hope for anything in any sport. Vanderbilt softball really had a little bit of a run there, but that's about it.
Houston will play basketball still. They'll be good at basketball still. But I mean, it was going to be over USF, Memphis, ECU, like these teams that are far away. So they wanted to go with a Texas team, I think, just to keep the conference pretty centralized. But so that's the only reason they're there.
Can we go ahead and say the AAC is dead?
Yeah, it will be. It will be. What do you think the best course of action for the group of 5, if they're truly, like, if the athletic directors really truly feel like they are trying to build their own brand and that P6 kind of thing that they chant all the time, what is something that they can do? Because all they're going to be able to do, obviously, is pull up from like Conference USA and Sun Belt and shit. And it's
listen, I got you. Get Boise State. No, that's Conference USA, right?
They're Mountain West right now.
All right. Get. Oh yeah. Are they the MAC? They're Mountain West.
It's Mountain West. It's like Fresno State.
Get Boise State. Get Boise State over here. Shit, get Fresno State. Why not? Get North Dakota. Get that. They keep getting quarterbacks. Get them.
I think it's FCS. South Dakota. Wasn't it South Dakota? I don't know. Whichever one.
Yeah. Whichever one is Carson and Trey. Yeah. Get that guy. Bring them over. Like get these schools. They might not be big market schools, but they're big name attractions. That's what you need to start looking at if you're
make a AAC. True American conference.
Make it, and it's going and it has to be the AAC because they've had the more success. They were able to pull out of the Conference USA, which turned into the Big East, or the Big East that turned into Conference USA. Yeah. So the AAC really has the biggest out of all the group of 5 conferences. The Mountain West, they've been right on Boise State.
Yeah,
AAC has been able to fucking produce and get TV deals and all this shit and show they really are the cream of the crop when it comes to the group of 5 conferences. So I think we are going to have all of these schools in the 5th group. I think it's going to go from a group of 5 to the 5th group.
So you say go extend all the best. So just get Boise State's, get Appalachian State, get Coastal Carolina, just get all the best people.
Yeah.
The best of the others. And
you can have, what is it? 16, 17?
16. I mean, you can, I guess. They're probably not going to go above 12, but you can find 12 good teams that can play.
If you're going to lose 4 and add 6 in, and it's these guys who make runs in and out, and they're going to be playing each other, that's just going to help out the conference because Boise State, they're used to playing nobody. UCF to them was one of the biggest games for them in 10 years. That's not a bowl game. It's North Dakota, South Dakota, whichever state it is, they didn't get to play a whole fucking season last year because they're in the FCS.
Right.
Bring these people up, bringing them into a conference that's proven that gets into fucking New Year's Day bowl games, New Year's Eve bowl games, that's really up there and beating these teams that they have to play, beating these Pac-12s, SEC teams. Yeah, that would definitely create a lot more than, hey, this team out of the Midwest, this team out of the MAC this year, they're actually playing pretty good. They're 12-0. Hey, this Coastal Carolina team, they're 12-0. Well, they just got fucking beat by Liberty in the bowl game. So what does it really matter?
Yeah. So I like that idea. especially if the playoffs is going to expand to 12 or whatever, there's going to be an automatic bid out of just the other people. So if you just monopolize that and say it's always going to be our conference, then you're going to get the recruits of that layer.
You got to think, if there's 12 teams, the group of 4, let's say that what the Power 4?
It's Power 5 right now.
Power 5.
Nah, it's gonna, is one of them.
It's so stupid. But so then you're really going to have 4, the SEC, ACC, maybe Big 10, Big 12, and then the 5th group. Like, they're really going to be it. They are going to, if they're able to get these teams who are able to play each other and really show who's able to come out of that. I mean, we've seen it with the Conference USA all the time. Even if it is one team that's really good, they usually come out of the conference with 1 loss. So we're still going to see that, but it's going to really be a better strength of schedule for these teams. So it's definitely going to bolster their argument over an Oregon team who really just fucking ran out a weak ass Pac-12.
All right, cool. Well, we'll talk about the alignment a little bit more when it happens, but that's pretty much all we have. We're looking pretty good. Do you have any cool outros better than your Bishop's whatever thing that you had going on there?
Yeah. Real quick, how does it feel to be old as fuck?
I'm still not as old as my girl, so it doesn't matter. Always young in the hair.
Dude, touche, my friend. But no, so everybody's going to probably be like, oh, you guys didn't talk about football. Well, we got the Bucks and Dallas coming up on Thursday. We both agree it's kind of a crapshoot. Bucks are going to win that. There's really nothing to talk about. And we are really, really, really excited to talk about the football that fucking happened. We're sick about talking about the NFL that's coming up. We're sick about talking about the games that are going to happen in months. Well, thank goodness they're days away. I'm so excited. I know you're so excited. And we both did fantasy this year. So at the end of this, just be like us. If you played fantasy, draft bomb-ass teams. Myself, best projected wide receiver, Devontae Adams. Got him. He's mine. George Kittle, second best tight end. I think Kyle Pitts might disrupt that this year. I don't know. Matt Ryan might find him a lot this year. Somebody drafted him in the 3rd fucking round, bro.
That's fair.
Somebody drafted Travis Kelce. Somebody picked. I got George Kittle. Somebody got him 3rd round. I was like, dang. Whoa. I was thinking about stealing him for a flex in like the 6th, 7th round. Holy shit. But no. So let's keep it going. All right. Got Jonathan Taylor, 3rd projected best running back this year because they have nobody. T.Y. is injured. They got to run the ball the whole fucking time. Let's go. And then, Gus Edwards becomes the only running back on the team. Let's fucking go. Harrison Buckner, best field goal kicker in the fucking league. I got him too. Buccaneers projected best defense. Got him too. I just got people everywhere, dude. I got number 1 receiver of the fucking Steelers. Not Juju. No, not Chase Claypool. No, Deontay Johnson. Got him in the fucking 5th or 6th round. Fucking these kids that I'm part of are stupid. Don't be like them scrubs. Be like us. Be like some fucking studs, not scrubs.